Welcome to the Phillipians Middle Ground video. Have you ever wondered if juniors and seniors feel the same about different facets of the Andover experience? Today, a group of juniors and seniors will respond to 6 different statements. If the student agrees with the statement, they will take a seat in front of the camera and discuss their thoughts with others who have also stepped forward. After that, the students who disagree with the statement will also step forward and offer their opinions. Anyone is allowed to change their opinion at any time. Step into the center if you agree. I'm glad I came to Andover.
Here, people push me to be a bit better, and then we're constantly pushing each other's limits and challenging each other, but in a supportive way. So I think that's a lot better than it was back home.
My name is Claire. I'm a 9th grader. My pronouns are she, her, and I'm from New York.
Especially as a boarder student, it kind of forced me to learn a lot of things about kind of being responsible. And in classes, my experience generally has been pretty positive.
Hello, my name is Will. My pronouns are he, him, and I am a 9th grader. I live in Chester Springs, Pennsylvania.
Yeah, I would just say it's for the people, like Claire said. Everyone here is so nice and so supportive that it makes up for all the academic pressure and stuff that happens.
Hi, I'm Kevin New. I'm a junior or class of 2025. I am from New York off campus. Oh, and my pronouns are he, him. The people is really what I've kind of enjoyed most here compared to, the education, obviously, the classes and the teachers are great, but it's definitely the people here.
Could you join them and then explain why not?
For me, coming to Andover, I was a very energetic, optimistic person, and now that I'm a senior, that's just not the case anymore. My name's Diego. My pronouns are he, him. I'm a senior, and I'm from Lawrence, Mass. I would say I value my mental health a lot, and the reason I started trying to value my mental health a lot more is because Andover kind of beat the mental health out of me. It's a very rigorous school, and I feel at some points it's just too much.
Yeah, I think I definitely agree with a lot of the points that Diego made, but I think looking back at the end, the good outweighed the hard times. It's a balance for everyone.
Hi, I'm Ingrid. I'm a senior from New York City, and my pronouns are she, her.
Coming to Andover betters your college admissions chances.
The main thing that I'm super grateful that Andover provided me with was really good college counseling. When Andover has a relationship with this college that can be beneficial for you also, the academics and the opportunities they've offered me, I've definitely become a lot better prepared for college than other people say.
I think coming to Andover, you get this idea of Andover being an elite institution. I feel Andover is just it gives off a brand name for a school, and I feel colleges do look at that at some point, and I do think they take that into consideration in the admissions process.
Hi, I'm Amy. I use she, her pronouns. I'm from Chicago, and I'm a current 9th grader.
I would disagree with the question because I've talked to past alumni, and a lot of them have warned me that they'll tell you to take a really hard class because it's helpful for this certain college that you want to apply to or something, and it's really not worth it. And you get compared to other kids here in the college application process, which is obviously a lot of pressure since everyone here seems so smart.
Yeah, I completely agree with Kevin in the sense that there's a lot of pressure to kind of separate yourself from the rest of the people you're being compared against. And one thing that I've noticed too, there is actually a set quota for how many people a certain Ivy League school will accept from the school. They will not accept more than say 20 or 30 people. And the fact that people here are so impressive and are so well-rounded in many different ways puts a lot of pressure on you to almost compete against them in a way that can be unhealthy towards your own mental health. That in general just makes the college admissions process a lot more stressful and in general more difficult.
I have found adults on campus whom I trust.
Well, my house counselor is she's super sweet, I've been able to confide in
confide in her like a lot, whether it be about my academics or like me playing tennis or like my social life kind of. She's always been there, and especially like in the first week when I was like really, really homesick, and I was like, there were a lot of tears, but like when I was really homesick, she was like able to make me feel better.
Yeah, I think I have some teachers who I really trust who not only taught me a lot, but have also like been really willing to give advice.
Hi, I'm Charlotte. I use she, her pronouns. I'm a senior and I'm from Washington, D.C.
I would agree. I think that I personally have like been like lucky enough not to like need to like reach out for serious help, but I do think that if I needed to, I have like my house counselor, my advisor, my college counselor, and they're all people who I've like gotten to know and like enjoy talking to.
But there definitely are like some faculty who like I really trust to kind of like have my best interests at heart.
I would definitely agree with that. I think two in particular I would say are my English teacher, my history teacher, who I have with Kevin, Dean Elliott. And I know she's also leaving this school next year, but like I've only had three classes with her, and she's super like welcoming, and like immediately like the entire atmosphere in the class was just like very friendly, very casual.
Just generally, I just have a natural tendency to just not feel comfortable with like adults, and especially when it comes to like more personal like things. I don't think I wouldn't blame like the institution for any of this, but I just feel like my emotional burden shouldn't like really interfere with their lives when they're so busy.
For me, I'm a day student. I don't really interact with many adults outside of like my teachers or like my advisor, and even then like the times I haven't been too pleasant. Like if I talk about say something serious, the person who I tried to talk to was very deflective, and it like tried to make it seem like the issue that I had wasn't an issue. So much so that like I had to actually like think about like, do I actually have the issue that like I'm thinking about, or am I just like making it up to like make people feel like sorry for me? I don't know. I haven't had the best experience with adults at Andover, so I just didn't like pursue it further.
The Andover I have experienced is a sex-positive campus.
Alright, I guess just come forward then. Yeah.
Like we got talks from like Yes Plus and everything, and I think like we're educated to an extent. It just gives the vibe that they're not supportive of it, but they can't really tell you like no in that sense. So I just think like there's no safe place for you to like feel like you can have sex if you want to. They like usually say like if you're caught doing it, like you'll get in trouble, like things like that. So
I would agree with that. I think that like there are like the education is good, and like they do provide like birth control and contraceptives at psychs, which I think is definitely good, and like providing privacy, which leads students to have sex in unsafe places.
The Andover I have experienced has control of the student body's substance and drug abuse.
Nah. No, not at all. There's a lot of stuff behind like hearsay, and sometimes more than hearsay, that you see around campus where people are doing drugs a lot, and the school tries to, I feel like they try to act like they have a better grip on it than they really do.
I feel like if an Andover student wants to do something, the institution here doesn't really necessarily have the ability to control what they want to do. Like, even as a freshman, I have heard like rumors that I'm not sure if they're true or not, of like, you know, maybe like this dorm is famous for having a lot of drugs, or like there's alcohol at dances or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's very hard for a high school to have full control of that sort of thing. I think the opposite is that it's out of control, and I don't think that's true either. But I don't think they have full control over it, because I think that's nearly impossible.
Yeah, I would say it's very disturbing, some of the specific details I've already heard as a freshman. Like, I don't know if any of it's true. I haven't experienced so far any like in-person drugs or anything with my own eyes, but the amount of stories that go around quite often, you know, I guess kind of sends an impression to the rest of the, you know, the grade that there's a lot of drugs and substances present.
I think that the sanctuary policy is like very important because even if it can't like control who like is or isn't doing drugs, it can control like whether people are like doing drugs in unsafe ways to some extent, because it provides them like a way to like get access to help. And I think that also like gives students a measure of control as well.
Raise your hand if you said you agree with this when we asked you the first time. Why did you change your answer?
I guess just like, it's hard when you think about it like just like as a freshman, because like I said before, like I want to give like Thea the benefit of the doubt and like hopefully like we can control like what we can, but it's also like seeing it from different perspectives of like knowing that like other people know the same stories I do just makes me think that maybe we aren't as good as I hoped we were.
The Andover I have experienced understands and enacts a balance between academic rigor and student wellness.
I at least find that at Andover you can have a balance between academics and wellness, but it's a balance you have to create for yourself. The academics are already there and you're going to be spending a lot of time on them, but the wellness takes personal initiative to sort of balance in with the academics. You have to really value it as part of your life and intentionally put it there.
I know like coming here, like a lot of stress came from me comparing myself to other students. And I think that's a lot of where the academic like rigor, that aspect of stress came for me. Once you really like find a path or you want to take for yourself, it does get manageable. But I think like PA does well in setting up, I guess like the times, like especially for finals week. I like the schedule they put it in of like having just like 2 classes a day.
The academy kind of tries its best to ensure that everyone is like mentally healthy and having a good time, and I think a lot of it comes down to like what type of experience you personally want to have at Andover. Like it is your decision whether or not to load up on a bunch of clubs and extracurricular commitments, and I think there is an expectation to do a certain amount of extracurriculars, but I still think that the academy like does its best.
Do you think your answer is going to change once you're not freshman?
Actually, yes, definitely. Yeah, there are a lot of commitments in the future, both in and outside of school, that are probably going to be a little bit interesting to go through. And I've heard things about like History 300. Yeah, I think it'll go back and forth at certain times.
I already talked about like mental health being a problem for me when I came to Andover, but it is true for a lot of people that they like college counselors will like tell you like you have to take classes that you may not necessarily want to take for the sake of like college rather than like your own mental health. And I feel like even though there are a lot of things in place to like try and support your mental health, a school where it's common for people to have less than like 4 hours of sleep, I think there's definitely a problem that has to be like looked into there.
I think like I agree with like what you were saying about like ups and downs, but like when it comes to like I have to choose between like my mental and physical health and my grades, I feel like Andover, like the culture at Andover puts a lot of pressure on me to choose my grades.
I would say one of the main problems is the glorification of sleep, which is less sleep, which is something I've done before, and it's really easy to fall into a cycle of sleeping less one night, and then it happens the next night and the next night, and then it just, it falls into a really unhealthy cycle, and then you just feel tired, and then you kind of just, I guess, adopt that lifestyle, which will not help you, especially as a freshman. And then I think that the academic pressure added on with a lot of social pressure from people is valued a lot higher than student wellness here.
Seniors, do you have any advice for the freshmen?
I just think Andover is what you make of it, to be honest. Like, just because my experience wasn't the best doesn't mean like y'all's experience is gonna be terrible. I'm like very a pessimistic person at heart. So like there's maybe things that like maybe like I may see as like terrible that like you guys may find okay. So just like take what we say with a grain of salt also, because like y'all may actually create change that y'all want to see.
It can be really hard as you go through Andover to find time to balance sleep and social life and academics again. But I think that Andover really taught me how to do that and how I want to do that going forward, and also helped me find like new areas academically, socially, again, that I wouldn't have found if I had not gone here, and that I don't know who I'd meet without. So again, it's what you make of it, and make sure that you take advantage of everything you can, while of course keeping that balance.